Hello everyone, today we're taking a look at the HummingBird F4 Pro 1S from Newbie Drone. As you may have guessed, all the components on this little quad are custom made by Newbie Drone. At least they're designed by Newbie Drone. Including the F4 flight controller that has a 12 amp ESC. All those different solder pads, there's two 5 volts, two grounds, you have video in and out as well as two UARTs. All on those solder pads. Additionally, this one is running the Bosch BMI 160 gyro, which is supposed to be more reliable than the MPU 6000. They call the camera and the VTX up in there the Mark II. The motors are 0802, 18,000 kV, running the Uzi quad-bladed props. The receivers are already built in. You can see we've got diversity antennas up here. The PH20 connector still has the rolled pins. The motor connector as well as the connector connecting the VTX and the camera are a little bit smaller than we normally see. And I forgot to mention the Goober canopy, which is holding the camera and the VTX. It weighs a little over 22.5 grams. Even if you're not buying this whoop, I do suggest you get some Nitro Nectar Gold batteries because they're really good. I bought a few myself. With the battery, it weighs 30 3/4 grams. So you can see there we've got some flashing lights. It's got 4 LEDs around there that are alternate colors. At least I believe they're alternate colors. We'll look at them closer back at the desk. Now, one of the things some of you might be expecting is for me to go blazing. One of my handicaps is that I have a difficult time when I don't have adjustable camera angle to fly at the rate of speed that I want to fly. So you see I kind of ballooned up there, kind of my first pass, and this happened every battery pack I flew. So that is one drawback, at least for me, is I need to train myself to adjust my eye line up instead of needing the camera angle. I think that's something that, I don't know. You tell me, it's a personal preference. Some people want camera angles, some people don't care about camera angle. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. This is going to fly for well over 3 minutes. It does come preloaded with JESC, and it is running 48 kilohertz. That's part of the magic on how we get the flight time. It is running Betaflight 415, and it is custom tuned, and it's very smooth. That's one of the things I can tell you without a doubt that you would find this whoop different than others is because of the tune and the way the quad handles and built with those quad blade props. Of course, you can drop all the way down to their Venom props, and if you haven't seen those, I'll show those back at the desk as well. Venom props from Newbie Drone, they are bi-blade props, so that would gain you some additional efficiency. You know, these are quad blades, and I'm still going to get well over 3 minutes of flight time. So if you drop a blade, you'll increase some flight time. I'm flying at night, not because the camera is a problem, but because, well, it's not actually night. It's like dusk. You know, everybody went upstairs to watch movies or play on their tablets or whatever. That post-evening time, I got done cleaning up from dinner and decided to go for some flies. And I want to do something fun. I know that a number of people already have this, and if you have one, post your link to your flight footage down in the video description, and then I know YouTube will slurp that off, so if you post it then you don't see your comment posted, just be patient, wait for me to clear it from YouTube's little clearinghouse stuff. It thinks all links are spam, so I'll approve those to your YouTube videos. And those of you that are looking for footage of people flying this whoop more, you can go down there and look, and if you like what you see, you can maybe subscribe to some of those people that you see that have shared their footage down below. And I'd like to do that more often, actually. I'd like to, you know, share more here, especially when it comes to whoops. I think that's one of the things that this little neck of the woods has become kind of known for, is at the very least indoor flying. You know, take a moment, pick some of your footage out. I would just do one link. Do one link for now. That'll get people over there. Pick your best flight, post it on your YouTube, it's not there already, and share that down in the comment section, and I'll clear that out. If you're doing research and you want to see more flight styles, you want to see more flight environments, that's the place to go look, because we're only going to look at the inside flight. I tend to only fly whoops inside. I know for review purposes, that's kind of cheating, because I should have flown it outside, but I didn't. And when I didn't, I kind of had this idea that it's like, I'm going to ask other people to post their footage so that you can see how it flies in other people's hands, because I know these have been on sale for 6 weeks, maybe 7. I could be wrong. And I should mention that right now they have a sale going on various products over at Newbie Drone. So if I get this video edited and published and out the door, maybe you can still take advantage of that sale, whether it's batteries, props, or Goober canopies, or B-Brain canopies, what have you, if you need to pick up some supplies for a build of various sorts. I believe Newbie Drone has also become a reseller of X-Racer products. So, or is it Racer X? Sorry, Twig folks, I forget. I get things backwards all the time. I get names wrong constantly. I can't pronounce things, or I can't tell how things are supposed to be pronounced. But you can see we're getting the battery fairly low. We're going to come in and land. This is one of the few flights that I didn't crash out in, because once I get up to 3 minutes of flight, I've usually crashed by then. So you can see we got almost 4 minutes of flight. I was playing it down the whole time. Battery recovered fairly well to 3.3 volts per cell. So one of the things I called out in the quick roll, this has the crimped or the rolled pins on the connector, and eventually at some point in time this will need to be replaced, whether it's 100 packs or 200 packs or 500 packs. I don't precisely know. It's going to vary. We just know that those break down. It increases your resistance, so your flight time will start going down. So if you've got a whoop and everything else is sound, and your flight time has dropped through the floor, I would always suggest changing out the pigtail. It's a relatively easy thing to do, and the first stop you should make when doing your repair. Also, the frame as they've designed it, it's got some fairly unique things that I don't think I've called out in the past reviews, but you see it's got these two little nubbins. Let me line those up. They've redesigned that nubbin a little bit. It used to be real round. Let's look at the front one. No, it's flat too. So it used to be a little bit more of a round bulb up there. At least that's my remembrance of it. I don't have the other one. I gave that away to compare. But that's where your battery rests. So it doesn't actually rest on the flight controller USB port. It rests on those nubbins. See if I can get a decent shot of that. Hopefully you can see that. Let me see if I can zoom in. So it's very, very close. Hopefully you can tell those little nubbins keep the battery from banging in the USB port. And it sits flat. Sometimes we'll get to whoops that kind of bobble around because the battery is kind of that balance point that it has. This one sits flat right down on all four motors, and the battery, it all sits real flat. So if you crash, it'll come down regularly kind of on a flat surface. It does turtle mode just fine, even on the slick surfaces within the house. I did find that sometimes you need that rocking motion to where, so if you're looking through your camera, let me move this around here a little bit, you would definitely want to go this way. So you'd want to get that rocking over. So if you were tipped up and you wanted to just flip it this way, it doesn't work quite as well that way. It works better if you get that little momentum going and roll it over that way. So if you're turtle moding, that's one way that you might be able to consider doing it. Of course, you'll figure that on your own accord. I've talked about the Goober canopy before. You can see we do have some lens protection there. So if we get some forward flight and some angle, if we do hit something up here, we got a pretty good chance the camera will be protected. They have some other motors on their site. So if you wanted to hop it up beyond the 18,000 kV, maybe you want to burn a hole in the sky or something like that, you might want to investigate those. Also, those Venom props that I mentioned, I think I've been calling them Uzi. I think I've been saying Uzi props, and it's not. It's just a Z props. So you've got the quad blades, the tri blades, and then these, here it is. This is actually called the Venom V2, as we've got here on the package. So these are some bi-blades. I've seen some people on Facebook asking about bi-blade props for whoops. This is the only one I'm aware of, unless you make your own. So if you're looking for bi-blades for any of your props with a 1mm shaft, as it says here on the package, this is the only one I'm aware of. So you'll need to head over to Newbie Drone in order to be able to pick up some props like this. They have them in various colors. I've got some purple ones over here as well. Ta-da! And if you're a fan of Patrick J. Clark's work, Project Mockingbird, I fully expect to see a Project Mockingbird tune worked up for this if it's not already available. So that's something to look forward to, or something if you want to make sure your next quad has that. And what that is, it's a special tune that he's worked out for angle mode racing. I think he also works in some other sort of modes. I haven't really dove deep into that. I fly acro all the time. So anybody's asking during that flight, am I flying acro or rate mode? Yes, no self-stabilization. That's just what I've become used to. I'm actually quite bad at flying any sort of stabilization mode. I would need to train myself out of that as well. But Project Mockingbird, I'm certain it's going to be coming to this eventually one day, and that's something else that you can look forward to. Maybe if you've already got experience flying Project Mockingbird and you enjoyed it, that could be added value for you. The way they've designed the board down here with the solder pads, they're pretty small. So you're going to need to have a really fine tip in order to be able to keep those solder pads from bridging. But it does give you the ability to add other VTXs. It does give you the ability to not use the little connector, which you really can't even see down there. You can see it a little bit. See that white and the green wires down in there? That's the connector down there. Again, that's an extra slim connector. That's not what we normally see. Oh, I forgot. We need to plug it in so we can look at these lights. I might need to turn my own lights off. Oh, and let's listen to the JESC tones too. Here, I'm going to turn on my lights so we can get a better look at those lights. Hopefully that's dark enough to where you can get a good make on those lights. Kind of a neat effect, especially if you're doing some nighttime whoop flying. Other people might be able to see you. And if you have a host of these out, make for a cool video. And the kicker for this, they've got it under $80. $79.99. Of course, that's probably the sale price right now. So if you're watching this way down the line, go over to the Newbie Drone website, check out to see what the current pricing is. It may have gone up 5, 10, 15, $2,000, what have you. But so they've got the price point that, you know, we've seen with Happy Model products that they're oftentimes around that 80 to 85, unless it's got an HD camera in it. That's kind of their price marker, and now Newbie Drone has got something to compete on price point as well. The built-in receiver, I didn't talk about that too much. It does FrSky D8 as well as D16, but I did not test D16. Those of you that have one and have tested D16, please leave your comment down below. I might consolidate several comments and then pin those in my own comment. So if you see me kind of copying and pasting your stuff, it's not to take away credit from you. It's that you can only pin one comment, and having that top comment with all that good information that you guys that do have one of these at the very top is most important for those people who are doing research. So not trying to take your credit, just trying to make sure we share the information with others who might be investigating. But that receiver also does Futaba. So the only one's missing is DSMX. But you got those solder pads, you can put your own on. You may have noticed I've got some foam tape underneath mine. See that down in there? I just thought, well, the way the wires are routed, because they go underneath the camera and I crash and I have a lot of hard surfaces, that even with this super hard canopy that I've used many times before, that I was worried about the constant bonking down there, that might, you know, kind of sever through one of those wires. So I took a tiny little piece of foam tape. Actually, I left the backing on one side of it and stuck it underneath the camera between the wires, just to try to give myself a fighting chance that those wires wouldn't take a beating. It does kind of change. You can see the front part of my camera is up a little bit, or the goober canopy is up a little bit further than it might normally be. But that's really the only change I made to mine. So as far as the weight goes, you might see that it's a little bit different than it comes out of the box. So if you haven't already, get to working on posting your HummingBird F4 Pro 1S footage and link it down in the comment section. And also, if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, otherwise, please let me know in that section down below. I appreciate your time. And thanks for watching.